they won't be able to hear the birdies.
You don't reckon?
No.
But if we can hear them, surely
No,
that's
these
'cause the
fuckers
mic's
listening
picking
won't.
it up.
No, yeah, it's weird. It's weird like that.
That's very upsetting.
The sound sounds completely different. I've hit record. The sound sounds different on the headphones to when it.
Very loud.
To when it. Are you about to turn me down?
No.
You fucking are. Turn
No.
your headset down. Don't turn me down. Is that better? Is that better for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but now I can't really hear me.
Yeah, you've turned it right
I
down.
haven't turned it right down. Look, just no, that's grand.
It's fucking. It's perfect. Perfect sound checking.
I think you just well, you just
Before
no,
we've
you
actually started.
sound check normally and then you go hello like that.
Steph's here.
Yes, hello.
Sorry for the lateness. Just had a busy weekend.
Well, somebody was upset when they got in on Friday.
I wasn't in a good mood on Friday, so I thought, well, I'm not gonna be able to bring you the best content like we normally do. So I thought, well, we'll delay it. But I also didn't want to put out a delayed message because I went through like the Patreon feed and everything, and it's like every other day it just says delays.
Yeah.
So I don't want to keep putting a delay message out.
Need to spice up social media, I think.
Would you reckon?
Yeah.
What?
Get some other Patreon content in there, some like pictures or something.
Yeah, but
I'm not being funny, right? I subscribe to this. I don't feel that I'm getting my value for
it's
money.
consumer feedback, is it?
Yeah.
There's nothing to really take pictures of though. Like if there was like a nicely set up studio, but obviously it's not. It's
No,
not.
but you don't
It's
need
not
to
here.
even just like pop of the week.
Pop of the week.
Pop of the week. You got enough. That's a good like 6 months of content.
Food for thought.
Pop of the week.
I'm still trying to figure out how exactly you film it and record it and get the audio to sync up because
You just use the audio of one thing.
yes, but every motherfucker that I've asked because it's how would you upload it? Because I don't know what you'd upload it to.
What do you mean? YouTube.
Yeah, but what? Just YouTube? How do people do it on Spotify?
I don't know, but it might be. Like how some people, like if you're on Instagram,
they might have a deal going.
you have it's like once you get a certain amount of followers, you can put a link in your story and shit like that.
Yeah, maybe it is something to do with that.
Yeah, why are we having a business meeting on this pod?
I'm sorry.
What's happening here?
I'm sorry.
What's happening?
We actually have some subject to talk about.
Do we?
Because we can both resonate with this. As we are both handheld gaming people, you so more than me, there is a competitor to the Steamdeck.
Oh, I.
That is coming, and it's made by...
Oh, Lord, you coming.
It's coming, and it... Praise him. And it's being made by Asus.
Oh.
And it's called the Asus ROG... Just throw that detritus there. The Asus ROG Ally is what it's being called as. It's not very, very...
That's a working title,
I got the Asus
isn't
ROG
it?
Ally. And it's being released on the 11th of May.
Stop it.
11th of May. And
This year now?
Yeah. And they're doing a
heard of
showcase on the 10th.
Okay.
Price hasn't been revealed.
Okay.
The specs...
They're going for that like sudden drop,
yeah, the specs have been revealed. And so there's speculation on the price. Basically...
Arm and a leg, I imagine.
In terms of... So we have been told that it will be under £1,000.
Oh, thanks.
So thank you so much for that. There's speculation that I think it will be around about the starting model, about £560.
Okay.
But when you look at the specs of it, it's basically double everything that the Steamdeck is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a powerful motherfucker.
Yeah, but can you... What kind of system are we talking about here?
So the operating system is Windows 11, is what it runs on. And then when you buy it, you get 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for free.
Oh.
So the Steam Deck is obviously Steam OS.
Yeah.
So it has its own thing, but then in part when you switch it over to desktop mode, it's Linux.
Yep.
So there is a workaround where you can get rid of Linux and have it running on Windows.
So you can.
But even then, I think it can only run on Windows 10 rather than Windows 11.
Right.
And it's weird. So like Valve, they both support the Steam Deck being run on Windows and don't at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a lot of workarounds to make it happen, but it does run perfectly fine on Windows. But there's loads of people like saying before, like how comparisons to it running on Linux and Are you good? You're just
I should have
fucking
taken
twitching.
a hay fever tablet.
Why?
It's fucking so itchy. Yeah, go on.
Itch then.
No, because I make the noise.
Oh. That's another thing that we need. Everyone keeps saying you should have a mute button. Like a button that just automatically mutes your mic separately so you can make noises and shit without it interfering.
Well, you put... Sorry, it's so fucking bad. I might have to go and get a Puritan.
Do you want to go and have a Puritan?
No.
You can. I can pause it.
We might have to. We can see.
Let
Carry
me-
on. No, finish your point, because otherwise you lose your point now.
What was I saying?
No. About how there's workarounds.
Yeah, so there's comparisons to it running on Steam OS, and then obviously on Windows and Linux and stuff like that, and there isn't that much difference. So you can run it on Windows, whereas this Asus ROG Ally
That's ridiculous.
will be solely on Windows. Now, I don't know if that means it will run exactly how a PC would, or if there will be launchers pre-downloaded onto it. But the fact that it's going to have 3 months worth of Game Pass straight off the bat tells me that they're going to at least have the Xbox launcher on there, because obviously you would if you're Microsoft.
Yeah, well, you do with Windows 11 anyway.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. But the actual specs of the thing, I won't bore you with like the GPU and all that type of shit. But it's going to have 16 gig of RAM, the same as the Steam Deck. It's the display is where it comes quite cool. So the Steam Deck is.
What's it looking like?
It looks like the Steam Deck,
right?
But it doesn't have the touchpads. Which
right.
I read an article and someone was like, "This is why it's not as good as the Steam Deck." I don't even use the fucking touchpads.
No.
Like, they're pointless unless you're running it in desktop mode.
Yeah.
But I suppose maybe because the Asus will be a desktop handheld, maybe the trackpads would be a little bit better than, because it depends how it navigates.
Yeah.
But the display on the Steam Deck is 60 Hz and 720p,
Okay.
which is about standard. The Asus ROG is 120 Hz, 1080p.
Oh.
So it's crisp.
Yeah.
It's a decent, and it comes as standard with 552 gig.
Raw.
Which obviously the higher end of so the lowest point.
Yeah, if you give your left kidney to Valve,
it's basically it
you can
works
have that.
out, if the price that's being speculated is somewhat true, then you're looking at a difference of 50 quid from the highest end Steam Deck to the lowest end Asus ROG.
Wow.
And the highest end Steam Deck I think is 500 and something gig. So
yeah, but
for
sorry, I meant how much was it? A lot, isn't it?
What, the Steam Deck?
Highest end Steam Deck was quite
It's about 500 something quid.
Anyway,
yeah. So the difference is about 50 quid if the prices are true. So for the sake of 50 quid, you could have the Asus with much better hardware and the same type of storage, and that's just for the lowest end.
Yeah.
So it's
but
very.
At the same time, that being the lowest spec that you can get for the Asus one does alienate, people with less dosh to drop on something like this.
Well, this is what people are saying, is that Valve now need to obviously there's very little known at the moment. So come 10th and the 11th of May, when everything is out in the open, they're saying that Valve needs to respond in terms of pricing for the Steam Deck, because what you're going to end up with is this portable device with this certain amount of hardware, and then for an extra possibly 50 quid you can have the same kind of device but with double the amount of hardware in it. Obviously the battery life and everything is still speculated. There's nothing on there to say how long everything runs and things like that, because as we know, the battery life on the Steam Deck is fucking appalling. But it's definitely food for thought on this one, because there are other copies of the Steam Deck. I can't remember their names, but they're all weird names. There's a couple out there.
Yeah.
And this one seems to be the most, because Asus is big.
Yeah.
Obviously in the PC world, they're big time. I remember when I was going to get the Asus ROG phone, like the gaming phone, because I was going to get the Lenovo Legion, but the Asus ROG was the one with the better hardware. So they're not slouches, and the fact that they've then got this deal with Microsoft and to run Windows and everything like that, just as a base. I'm really intrigued to see how that works. So they're doing that showcase on the 10th of May, which is where we'll find out and we'll see, like, for good what everything is. Yeah. Do you want me to pause it and then you can go and have a period?
I'm being attacked, I won't lie.
Let me pause it. We'll come back. We are back, and in the interim I've been watching a YouTube video on someone that got a hands-on of the Asus ROG.
Oh, right.
I mean, he calls it a Zeus, which just makes my skin crawl.
Why? Oh, right.
Zeus ROG.
Zeus. Oh,
Ah, it's Asus, motherfucker. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I quickly glanced over on the comments, as you do, and a lot of people complaining about the lack of touchpads. Maybe I just don't use my Steam Deck enough, because for me, if you remove the touchpads, I'm not massively bothered. Really, I don't use them in games. You can, but I tend not to. A lot of people saying that the pricing is going to be a big one, because when you the GPU and the CPU are the same. They're made by the same people, the AMD. So that doesn't change. Obviously, the rest of the hardware in the Asus is different. Apparently, it's much lighter.
Oh. It's
a lot less clunky, but it's difficult to really talk about how the comparison in clunkiness, because one's on Steam OS and one's on fucking Windows. Completely different UIs and formats. For me, I
but
think
ultimately they should be comparable. A lot of things are comparable.
But I think for me, with the Steam Deck, I don't find it clunky at all because it's touchscreen. So if you're navigating with the touchpad or anything else, or the joysticks, and then there's something that is being annoying to get to, you just tap it with your finger.
Yeah.
So therefore, it isn't clunky anymore. I suppose if you didn't want to actually use the touchscreen aspect of it. And then another thing that people were pointing out is, with it being this powerful and that light, people can't understand how the battery's going to be any better than what the Steam Deck is. Because right now, if you're running AAA game, well, it doesn't even have to be a AAA game on the Steam Deck. Any game, so Shadow of War, Days Gone, things like that. Yeah. Then you're right. What's up?
I'm so allergic to the air. I'm looking at you, my fucking nostril. It's gonna come off. I'm trying. Sorry, as you were, go on.
There's no point me shutting the doors because it's already in your nostrils.
It's already in.
It's already fucked you. She's dying. I don't have hay fever, by the way, so I don't understand how people struggle. But I'm with you on the struggle. I'm empathetic towards it.
Sorry, carry on.
I was just saying that with the Steam Deck, you really don't get a lot of time. 2-3 hours is sort of the. What's this dog fucking doing? I don't know what she's doing. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna have to fucking check. Where were we? Here we go. Need to take this fucking pause button away from me. Yeah, I just think that with that kind of hardware, I don't think the batteries have caught up yet to deal with that kind of thing. Again, make no mistake that the games that will be able to be played on the Asus, obviously the exact same as the Steam Deck, they are not designed for handheld purposes.
Nope.
But in saying that, the invitation of a competitor like Asus into the handheld market for this type of thing is great.
Yeah. Because
now you have somewhat of a battle here for Valve and for Asus to both.
Fuck.
What?
Did you not see that bee? That's right, it's gone. Oh, he's there.
You're fine, man.
You're the one frightened of him.
No, I'm right with him.
Okay.
It's like I'm buzzing in my ears.
Well, I was coming for you. I was just letting you know, man.
Look, we either let the heat in with the doors open or we freeze in here.
Okay.
I'm doing it for our benefit. Obviously not for your nose.
No.
Yeah, I think competition's always good.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Stop staring at the fucking wasp.
I'm sorry. I'll be honest, it's completely thrown my point, the wasp. I'm just going to nod. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, great. That's great. Fuck's sake.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's something that I suppose Steam Deck or Steam, Valve, whatever, all under one term, has been able to kind of like corner that a bit, i.e. being the most popular of that kind of area. So it'll be interesting to see how it does, because I mean, like you say, the price point is kind of is the next thing to see about, because they may not see it as a competition in the sense of being. My brain is literally full of pollen. What am I getting at? Like, if they're going for the more premium customer, then Steamdeck will mop up everyone else, won't they?
Yeah.
You know, like how it's just not like it to be unaffordable equates to just also not being in your personal budget.
Yeah, because it's also the Steam Deck itself. So I think mine was, what was it, like 320 quid, something like that. Really not expensive for the hardware that you got. They both do the same thing. I swear to God, if you keep eye tracking this fucking wasp.
I think it's a bee, isn't it?
I don't know. Stop staring at it.
Sorry.
He's just fucking watching this bug. It's gone.
Okay.
Do you want me to close the door?
No. It's grand. Go on. Sorry.
It has gone. I promise you, it has gone.
Lovely. You're looking at it now.
They both do the same thing, so it's not like you're missing out on anything. It would just be for performance.
It's not like, and I think at this point in time, I don't really think that there's any one person's going to come and like ruin. You know, like I saw a thing the other day about how over the years, and it's all like the browsers that have been in favour.
Firefox.
Yeah, and there was like Opera, Netscape, shit that you don't even know exactly, but they were like
Bing.
huge. And then you watch, and literally like it goes Internet Explorer, takes over loads, and then one day it just goes Chrome and just goes all the way round. I don't think we're at that point yet where it's going to be like, oh, do you remember the Steam Deck? Yeah. Oh, barely, because Asus they've got this big thing. Like you were saying with the battery and stuff like that, there's so much limitations at the moment with the hardware that I don't necessarily think anyone at Valve is like, oh fuck, like, oh my god, we're gonna have to really do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like that. We're almost in that like experimentation phase where everyone's
massively
trying out new shit, and the whole console wars. You're gonna get people who will keep, like yourself. At the end of the day, Xbox would have to bring out some nutty, crazy thing for you personally to ever leave PlayStation behind. It's fair to say. Whereas obviously you've got people, Ash, me, whatever, it's like, I'll get what I get because I want it. Not necessarily being like crazy loyal to just one.
Yeah.
And there will be people who have a Steam Deck that will try it, but there are people who, they have that like, no, I'm sticking with what I like.
I think it's like with the Xbox and the PlayStation ideas. I've always been PlayStation, obviously, because that's what my mum got me when I was a fucking child. And I think now there's so much of a lack of difference between the two of them.
Yeah, they
are the same thing. They both run the same. Obviously, there's very slight difference, but they do the same shit. So what's the point?
And I might upset some here, but like they kind of always have been.
Yeah,
in the sense that,
similar.
Yes, spec differences, exclusive titles, but they've always been both ways.
They've never been
better at this. They've
never been different to a point where, say, a Call of Duty comes out and one's going to run it better than the other. They're both designed to run it exactly the same.
And like when you're looking at, well, put it this way, when we compared the two Switches, prior to seeing them next to each other, it's not like the OG Switch was bad.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like until you get something new, or like when we were playing fucking Simpsons Hit and Run, you weren't looking at this going, Jesus, these graphics are chewy. You know what I mean? It was of its time, and then it's only when it gets better. Even like old photos, home videos, whatever, old shows. Like when they I
feel like with the consoles that with the PS5 and the Xbox One, we have hit a point now where how good can the graphics truly get? How far can we really push this to a point where it's even going to be
it's going to look like you're playing real life.
You're going to hit a wall. Eventually, you're going to hit a wall when it comes to visuals, where you ain't going to be able to go any higher than what your eyes can already fucking perceive.
Yeah.
So therefore, you have to venture elsewhere. The PS5 and the Xbox One in how they look is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is room to go further, but I don't think there is that much room to go further. We see some of the shit on Unreal Engine 5, like
It's
that
real,
body.
isn't it?
I don't know if you've seen it. That body cam game where it was like. It's not out yet, and I don't know if it will be. But it's that guy running around a building shooting people, and it's from the point of view of a body cam. And there was genuine concerns of people thinking that this was real footage of someone running around shooting people, because they're like, this is so realistic.
Yeah.
And it was all done in Unreal Engine 5, and it's like, some of the stuff you see is fucking crazy, and trying to package that into a game that you can sell and make a profit out of. Obviously, like we've spoken about it so much before, until they drop the previous generations and just focus solely on what we've got now, that idea of being able to run games like that will not happen, because the older generations, PS4, things like that, they can't run it. They can't do that. But that time is coming. But I think in terms of the console wars, I think the shift has changed from it being a purely like graphics type thing to things like what each company can offer. So you look at Xbox Game Pass, fucking incredible.
Yeah.
The amount of games you can get on that and day one releases, mental.
Yeah.
PlayStation's version is shit.
Yeah.
So you get people who are going to go, right, well, these two consoles are basically the same thing.
Yep.
But for £10 a month, I can get this whole massive catalogue and day one releases. Or for £10 a month, I can get this stuff that I'm just not interested in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for this one. And especially with things like incorporating Discord and crossplay into these consoles, there is no difference between, it isn't, I can't play with you because I'm on Xbox and you're on PlayStation.
Exactly.
Fuck me, we had it where you look at No Man's Sky. So Connor can be on his PC, I can be on my PlayStation, and Ash can get fucking No Man's Sky on his Xbox, and we can all play the same fucking game talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then, like PlayStation has Discord incorporated into it. I don't actually know if Xbox does or doesn't, but I'd imagine if it doesn't, it will do very soon, or it might already have. I really don't know.
No clue.
So the borders between gaming are so minuscule now. Even on the Steam Deck, you can play with people if it's a cross-play game. So I could be playing whatever with you, and you could be on a fucking Xbox or a PlayStation or a PC, and I'm on a fucking handheld sitting in my bed.
Yeah. There's a lot of cross-play on the Switch as well.
Yeah. So I think, even the Switch are fucking missing out on that one as well. So and that's a console that's completely separate from everything else, that can still intertwine itself with everything else. So I don't think that it is hardware and things that are necessarily the gap creator anymore. I think it is what people are getting offered and value for money.
Yeah. In
terms of, I think, like cloud gaming is becoming a big thing now.
Yeah.
You look at Luna.
Yeah, and this business of, like when I say hardware, I think that's kind of like the universal thing that's in the way of everyone, you know what I mean, in the sense that, they want like something like the Steam Deck. The state of the battery life of the Steam Deck is something that I imagine they sat for days and days trying to, and that is the best of the best at the moment. But I think cloud gaming, that's a shocker. Like seeing Lou playing Control, and it's not even downloaded on our relatively shit internet, and it looking pretty much like it did on your PlayStation with almost trippy.
No input lag, because it's not running on, it's running on a dedicated server, which trying to get your head around it. So the game that you're streaming from the launcher that you're streaming it from is separate. Yeah. So you're launching the game from a launcher, but the game's actually being run from a different server, which has nothing to do with the launcher, to reduce input lag.
Yeah, you're playing that on a fucking Fire Stick.
Yeah, and then and then you can buy an actual controller designed for that to further reduce any input lag, so that it's basically non-existent. Because that's obviously the massive issue with cloud gaming is input lag.
Yeah.
Not so much for single-player games, but definitely for online games like The Division.
Yeah.
You can't, or Call of Duty, you can't be having that input lag, because you're going to get fucked up by the people that you're coming across. So trying anything you can to reduce that is massive. But that Amazon Luna was seeing it firsthand. I very nearly bought into it, but after reviewing the gaming catalogue, I thought it's not enough
At
for
the
me
moment.
to go for it. But when you've got a massive company like Amazon, you've got unlimited amounts of money.
Yeah.
They've already got Prime Gaming and things like that they're venturing into.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting concept, because you used to have PlayStation Now, which was cloud gaming, and it was fucking awful. It was really, really poor. Even with a decent connection, it was really poor, and the quality of the game, like the graphics would plummet. Like when you're watching a YouTube video and it goes to
Suddenly
360p or whatever, it would be like that. And that's what I was expecting when I saw Lou crank up Luna. And don't get it mistaken, people. She's not playing it on some fucking crazy telly setup and stuff like that. It's literally like the kind of TV you'd see in a car wash with a fucking fire stick plugged into it, and she's sitting on the edge of her bed, and it's like really streamlined and looked really good. It's cool. It was impressive.
Yeah. Very, very unexpected, and I'm excited to see kind of where that goes. Because that's the thing, kind of like what we're saying just then about the browsers. Like, shit, what if in like 10 years' time we were like, remember when you had a physical console? And actually, all of a sudden, we're all just playing it in the fucking cloud. That'd be crazy. And that would be, like, I think, perhaps the only thing that would make all of these different companies kind of obsolete. Not obsolete, but if there is this, if someone cracks this universal, like, cloud-based, and it's just perfect and crisp and all that shit, what is the reason for shelling out for a console? Why would you do it?
Well, it's so
accessible.
It is somewhat there with Luna.
Oh, it's not though. No, I mean in the sense that, like there are no more exclusives. Everything is on it. Everything's available. Like, there's no reason to not.
In an ideal world, you would, but even then, is it ideal in that you get rid of? You don't have Sony. You don't have Microsoft. You don't have Nintendo. It's all one thing, but then you don't get the competitiveness of it, and obviously the money that's invested and the drive to do different things.
Or I mean, in the sense of like Spotify, in the sense that who's buying CDs? You buy a CD now. The last 50 CDs I've bought, I've probably never even played them. I just bought them to support.
It's a nostalgia thing.
Do you know what I mean? You're still having that individuality, but it's under one umbrella. But even then, it's actually, to be fair, I suppose perhaps that's how it will continue, in the sense that really it's not just Spotify. It's Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music. Like, they are still individual, and you do still make that choice of something that is ultimately the same. Maybe that's how they do it. You'll have like Sony Cloud.
I think the cloud gaming is a very real thing that is fast approaching. Well, again, we've touched on it before in the digital age about how even the gaming discs are becoming obsolete.
Yeah.
And that it used to be that you downloaded, half the game was sitting on the disc and half of it wasn't. Well, a lot of games now that are coming out on the disc, it's just the fucking key for a digital download. And quite a few games that are coming out where certain editions don't actually have the disc anymore. And then you look at the PlayStation 5 Pro that is apparently supposed to be coming out, and then a new version of the PS5 where it will be... She's just tried fucking running, spun round in circles, where it will be a digital only console that will be sold, or you can buy, a separate disc reader.
So as to not alienate all the people that have already bought the discs.
Yeah.
And then you watch the next iteration of that, nothing.
And that disc reader is interchangeable. I think it's meant to be like 80 quid or something like that. So it further like pumps up the digital age of it, in that you won't need the physical copies, because really and truly, I can't remember the last Dead Island 2 is the latest game that I bought that's a physical.
Yeah.
And then before then, I can't fucking tell you.
Devil Inside.
Yeah. Even then, they got returned.
Yeah. Thanks.
but you don't need to buy physical anymore, because everything's digital, and the price gap isn't that big anymore. Obviously, I think the PlayStation Store takes the piss in their pricing on digital. I've never understood why a digital copy should cost more than a physical in my life, but that's normally how it works. But the gap is closing. But most new games I buy, unless Amazon's doing a deal, will be digital anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've got the storage for it now as well.
Yeah. But then I suppose, I think, like is it a conspiracy probably? This idea that they're trying it so that no one will truly own anything, or rather I should say. And I can see it in the sense that having that tangible product that you physically own it versus it all being online. There is that, and the idea of, well, think about when we were in school and you're lending games, you're lending CDs and shit to your mates, and that just doesn't happen now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it does in some format, but really you can't. I mean, shit. Even it's kind of a real diversion, but it kind of makes my point. At the hospital, how many times we would go and you'd use your ticket, and then you still had 2 hours left, so you'd scour the car park and you'd hand it to someone.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, now it's gone. You pay.
Yeah, can't do that anymore.
It's got your reg. You pay when you leave, and off you go.
Yeah, because they want more fucking money out of it.
Yeah, and little cute things like that. That's like a connection between two people. Is just going.
Game sharing is there. You do it. You can. Colin does it on Xbox with one of his pals. So only one of them buys a game, and they just game share it. So they both got access to it. Same as, obviously, I know. It's not what we're talking, but the physical copies of games, you can hand them to someone else, and they can fucking have them.
That's what I'm saying. Is going. But it's going.
Yeah, but I think it's still there. It's just becoming digital. But obviously, they are making it a lot more difficult to actually share a game. There's been a couple of games that I can't remember the names of them, but there's been a couple of games that me and Mark have played where only one of us.
Yes, but they are co-op.
Was A Way Out like
co-op games though? Yeah. No, and A Way Out and It Takes Two.
But even then, I think that was, you can only play that if that person is playing it.
Yeah, yeah.
You
but
were
this is what I'm saying. Like, so Dead Island, you can give that to Mark, but you can't give Shadow of War.
No. Yeah, yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. When you look at, in my cupboard, all of the Xbox 360, all the things like that, and you think Xbox 360 is like a whole shelf. Xbox One, there's like 5 games because of exactly that reason.
I can't even log into a different PlayStation and start downloading games that I've purchased digitally. Because it knows that's not my PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I can only download the games that PlayStation knows has been purchased on that PlayStation.
And you are also at
primary in it.
You're at the discretion of, the terms and conditions, in the sense that, so like you were saying, this game sharing. So Colin, he's sharing his games with his mates. Oh, until actually new terms roll in, that don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's nutty when you see how quickly they can change stuff. But you're at the mercy.
But like you say with the conspiracy that you never own anything, they can just switch it off at the touch of a button and stuff like that. But even if you do own the games, they can do that now because you need to run it on the servers. You'll be amazed how many PlayStation games require you to have PlayStation Plus to actually play them.
Course.
Fucking loads of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's never really been something that I give a fuck about because I think if they're going to switch it off, they're going to switch it off. There's nothing I can do. But they're not going to do that because you'd miss out on loads of money. Why bother? Why make that a thing? But it so much stuff that you buy into is at the mercy of the company that owns it. Even trying to fucking return a game that you've bought digitally is impossible. Like with PlayStation's one. If you buy the game, it automatically starts downloading said game. Yeah. Most times. I think they might have changed it now. And in their terms and conditions, it's if you've started downloading the content, not played it, it voids your ability to refund it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you fucked me there then.
Yeah.
So if I've downloaded it but not played it, I can't return it. Like I say, I think that must have been changed now.
Well, and even like, I find the Ragnarok Special Edition an interesting one, because so you have this you've got this limited edition box set, and yet if you want to sell that, you're not selling the game.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, because I've
done.
already used the code.
Yeah.
Because it didn't come with a fucking physical. I don't like that.
Yeah, don't give me a fucking empty steel
Don't give
book.
me. I don't think there's an issue with making games that won't have a physical copy. So let's say they made Dead Island 2 and they went, we've made this game. It's digital only. There will be no physical, unless you buy a steelbook version, or you buy a collector's edition, which comes with a steelbook, which will have a physical copy of the game in it.
But there were copies of that.
No,
there were disc copies of Ragnarok.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
but why can't they just fucking add that shit in?
So that was what? That was 180 odd quid for that edition, right? So if I wanted to have the God of War Ragnarok game in the steelbook or in the steel case, I would have to spend another 60, 70 quid on the physical copy of the game to then put that disc in that steelbook.
Yeah, it takes a piss.
It takes the absolute piss. You shouldn't have a collector's. You shouldn't have any edition other than the standard edition not offering the disc.
Yeah.
Especially if the price range goes above 90 quid.
Yeah.
Then give me the fucking physical disc. But I do agree that it's not necessarily an issue for the baseline copy of a game to not actually have a physical with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like that's not even the standard game case, like that Dead Island 2 case. I keep referring to Dead Island 2 because it's the only fucking physical game that I've bought. There's nothing special about the case.
No.
The artwork, there's nothing crazy
isn't
about it.
Isn't that crazy in itself that there's like that element of rarity where you're expecting something? Do you know what I mean? Like, it used to just be, that's just a game case. You know what I mean? It was that. And now, because you don't get them, when you do get them, you're like, oh, it's boring.
Yeah, you go, I want like, something to look cool.
I've not even got like an art card.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And yet, shit comes back around. Like, I think you got people now that, well, even something like vinyl, it's just weird. Like, the idea that a CD and DVD, it makes me feel so old that they're like novelty.
The idea that there's
I haven't bought a fucking film on DVD
the idea that there's people around now that don't know what a cassette and a CD is.
Oh, I don't know.
What a CD is.
I know.
Who the fuck doesn't know what a CD is? If you're listening to this podcast now and you don't know what a CD is, stop listening. Please.
No, don't be like that.
It's just crazy. How?
Embrace the young generation. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't think gaming will ever go backwards like that. I don't think necessarily it will revisit.
Well, then look at the.
But I suppose no. No. Let me take back that statement because I feel like, yeah, I'm wrong in saying that because I feel like there's a lot of older stuff that was good but just wasn't good enough to last. And I feel like with today's technology and advancements, you can revisit a lot of old stuff and majorly improve it to make it a hell of a lot better. Or even fucking looking at the Tears of the Kingdom edition Switch that you've got that you won't open.
Yeah.
Even like when you had a look at it to make sure that it was fucking working because it had a fat dent in the box right on the fucking corner of the actual console itself.
Yeah.
Grim.
Personally, I would complain, but there you go.
The quality of life improvements, like with the kickstand and then the rubber feet.
Rubber feet, I know.
It's little things like that you don't necessarily realise that you need.
Yeah.
But when it is done, you go, oh, fucking hell, that makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
Little revisits like that.
Yeah.
Which I think have been done to a lot of stuff.
On the Switch itself, obviously they've got, I believe it's only when you're a member of Nintendo Switch Online, but they have all the virtual consoles, and they've recently cracked out Game Boy Advance and I think Game Boy Original. And when you're playing, so there's like the usual, like, obviously not all of them had save game, but you have suspension points. Yeah. But you also, in like any game, you just rewind it. It. Like, so if you fuck up, you don't necessarily have to die and do all that shit. You can just rewind it.
You can just rewind it.
Yeah, I'll show you later.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
like that a lot.
It's great. So that is that kind of like frustrating element that was always with older games, where it is just like game over, fuck you, that kind of thing.
How clever is that? So rather than just having to restart the entire level or something, you just go
rewind.
Like Prince Persia: Sands of Time, when you could fucking rewind time with that one. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and it's that like there's that weird. I suppose for me, I guess maybe slightly different in the sense that I cling on to everything, so I could literally fire up a Game Boy Color and crack it out. But I appreciate that a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're like me and you don't keep on to anything.
That must be even more of a sort of like, wow, to just kind of, because I think you and I are kind of the same, where older games don't. It has to be like a certain game to me to actually want to sit there and like grind it out like I used to.
Yeah.
But just seeing it again and like seeing it on a bigger screen and colour and backlit. And
this is
like
prime
really nice.
Prime example for that is World of Warcraft Classic.
Yeah.
Versus retail. I started playing Classic a little bit just because of the nostalgia aspect of it, because I remember that feeling of playing it when it wasn't Classic and it was like retail. And I played it for about 10 hours and thought this is really, really good. But slowly you start to see the quality of life changes that aren't implemented in the Classic version.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, this is so even little things like when you get a quest now in retail, it gives you a map marker. It tells you where to go. It shows you on the map where you need to go, and then it has dialogue that tells you exactly what you need to do to fulfill this quest. Whereas in Classic, there's none of that.
Wow.
There's none of it. You have to actually read the quest log and try and figure out what it is that you need to do. And then obviously in Classic, you could put add-ons on it that would tell you what to do and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people say that a lot of people that play Classic over retail will say, yeah, Classic's really good if you put these certain add-ons on.
If you just make it a lot like the retail.
Yeah, which are quality of life. And then you get people like myself, and there are a lot of people like me who go, yep, Classic's cool, but the nostalgia weren't the same, because you very quickly realise that grind that you loved has been made so much easier and more accessible in retail with quality of life and the graphics and the way it plays and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, back to your point.
Well, it's like buying a car and then going, I'll walk.
Yeah. It's sometimes how things have adapted and have become over time are just so much better than its genesis. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to sort of like take the original of something and put it on a shelf and go, you did good.
Yeah.
Like, you are the reason why this is how it is, because you took the first steps.
Yeah.
And I feel like with handheld gaming, this is what Nintendo Switch has done. This is what Steamdeck's doing. This is what Asus is doing. Asus is there because of Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And I feel like Steam Deck is heavily there because of Switch. They're you always look to something to create something new.
Yeah.
And that competition and that understanding is just really cool. And I think, there are some people that will always resonate with the older shit. And then there's people like us that will go, yeah, that stuff's cool, but I'm not interested in it anymore because of that. I've got all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in this stuff.
You know, it's like when you look at games like Pong or Arkanoid.
Yeah.
You know, and that was crazy. Like even the Commodore 64, it didn't even have a screen.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that was crazy. That was the newest, you know, it's like when people looking back at stuff and like to look at it now, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe like we all lost our minds over this.
Well,
but we did because it was that.
Well, you think even like Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah.
And
I want to remember it how I remember it.
Yeah, and when like, or my one for me is Killzone, which is PlayStation exclusive. It's dead now. I don't really know. I think Call of Duty and like Battlefield killed it off. There just weren't enough people. But I really, really liked Killzone. Had a lot of fond memories playing those games. And when I first started playing them, I thought the graphics were incredible. Yeah. They were crazy. And I haven't looked at what Killzone looks like now, because I don't want to spoil it for myself, because I know it's not going to look as good as I really thought it was, and that was the same with Assassin's Creed 2. In my head, when I was playing it when it was current, I was like, yeah, this is fucking, this looks the tits. And then you go back and you play it now, like, because obviously that's what Mark was doing. And talking to him about it, and he's like, yeah, the graphics are, he was like, they're shit. He was like, they're not good.
I remember just like walking everywhere in Skyrim being like, oh my God, it's like I'm here. It's so real. Like it was so fucking crispy. Like the sunset in Skyrim was like the beautiful, best thing I've ever seen on a game. And yeah, like, I mean, I appreciate she's still with us in her various formats, dear Skyrim, for fucking 60 quid on the eShop.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop.
Yeah, just give
money.
it like, and I couldn't
give it away for free.
It was on sale the other day for like 15 quid, and I was really thought about it. It was like, I'm not paying another penny. This game is like older than children that are in year 9.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Well, yeah, we've been over this. It's the fucking mods that are keeping that game alive.
But yeah, those experiences I think stay with you, especially if you're not a casual gamer. You do genuinely like. It is such a huge part of your life. Yeah,
I've never. So like Neil has one of those like arcade gaming.
Oh, cool!
Rigs, like the full on, and it's got like 10,000. I think I showed you the PDF once, where he sent me over the PDF of all the games on it, and it was like 60 odd pages of just fucking games, and he absolutely loves that thing, and plays it all the fucking time, and for me. If you give me something like that has all the old Ratchet and Clanks on it, all the Prince of Persias, all the old Assassin's Creeds, the Uncharted, all hit and run, all the older games, fucking Destroy All Humans, I'm not interested in them. They're cool and I like them, but I know that I'll start playing them and I will get bored quickly because I know of the games that I've got now. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but then did you not say when you were getting the Steam Deck, you were like, oh, I really want to play all the Prince of Persias?
I do. And then I watched gameplay and I was like, nah. Because I just know. I know that I'm not going to be as interested as I once was. And I know this because I fucking loved Destroy All Humans. I loved them all. And they're on Game Pass. And I bought them on PlayStation as well. And playing them again, current, from years of not playing them, they're just not as fun as I remembered them. They're very empty space. They're quite bland. The story isn't great. But at its time, fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it's not taking away anything from those games. It's just now they don't hit the same markers. It's like with old movies, old CGI and stuff like that, or before CGI was a thing.
It takes you out of that immersion, doesn't it?
But perception and things like that. Whereas now. You watch a movie and you go, fucking hell. Like, it's crazy. It doesn't take away from anything that's older. It's just, I much prefer the shit that we've got now to the point where the older stuff, I'm not necessarily interested in investing time into it anymore because it served its purpose.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do. Is what I'm saying. A lot of people still.
You know what I found? Like, maybe it kind of goes hand in hand. Like, when my sisters were around a couple of weeks ago, and we were on it's called Virtual Console. It has been for a long time. Like, well, I don't actually know if it still is, but it used to be called Virtual Console in like Nintendo. Because it's this concept of playing older shit on a new console. You can get it on 3DS, you can get it on the Wii U. But now they're called, I don't know, I can't remember what it's. Anyway, irrelevant. And we sat and were playing, and some of them weren't great. Some of them are so confusing because there's no like instructions. When you think these games used to come with, remember, like the thick ass manuals.
Yeah.
You had to like do some reading before you actually start playing.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not there.
They're
gone.
Fucking hell, yeah. Like God of War, where you'd have the booklet and it would tell you the combos in the booklet because they weren't on the fucking menu, like the start menu or anything.
It's just like, oh my God, some of them are so fat.
Yeah.
So fat. And yeah, but it was like that, I think, because those kinds of games were games we used to play together. Even games like on SP, like there was, I think it's like Treasure Planet. And Charlotte and I would play it, like we'd help each other, and or she'd have a go and I'd have a go, sharing the same cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that element of it was more fun playing it with her than like me sitting on my own having a go. Maybe because it is kind of like that joint memory. It was quite funny though. You know the games that you progress, but you progress with a password.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There was no there was no like. They were just ROM.
Yeah.
So, and I remember it was like just British little children, and the password, it was like a fancy T that kind of was like really curved, and we got stuck on this level for ages because we were typing in crumpet and it was trumpet.
Oh.
Because they looked the same. And it was like, oh my God, we're so English.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the password is crumpet.
It's crumpets. It's crumpet.
But yeah, like, and that, I think now, how weird would that be where essentially you have no real customization in the game at all. It's just you log on with this password because you're at that level and you go.
Well, you think of the game.
So weird.
He's going to kill me because I can't remember the name of the game that Ash was on about, where you had to unplug the controller from one port and put it into the next port for it to for the game to continue.
Oh.
I can't remember. He's spoken about. I'll do a quick Google. But for the life of me, I can't. And he's gonna fucking kill me.
I mean, I know when you used to have to do, it was like over 2 discs. Like Rage 1, is a double discer.
Where you have to.
Which is so weird now. Like, what the hell? Fucking getting to the end of a disc and having to change over.
Oh yeah.
I fucking loved Rage 1 though.
I'm not gonna be able to find it, am I?
Did anybody else like Rage 1? Am I only that? I got it in a pre-owned game thing years after it came out.
Ash, when you listen to this, mate, you'll have to shine some light on it because I really, it's in one of the episodes. It's not that far back, but I can't remember it.
Okay. You didn't play it, did you?
What?
Rage 1?
No. Rage was never my thing. Didn't play the latest Rage either.
No,
didn't get good reviews.
I didn't play the latest one. No, I didn't like it. Didn't like the look of it. But no, Rage 1. It was like I know this is like stripping it down to its most basic level, but it was like Skyrim in a different skin. That's what I felt like. I think, mate, it's not at all.
I'll quickly Google images of Rage 1 so I can see.
It's like a desert wasteland vibe. I thought it was great. I thought it was really great. I can't even really remember. It's just like, I don't know. I just thought it was cool.
Was that Rage 1, yeah?
Show me.
It don't look bad, does it?
I mean, yeah, I can't see.
Was that like Rage 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. They look like the evil things out of Valheim. Yeah.
It was good. It was alright. I'm not about to say maybe I'll look at Rage 2 because that did get shit reviews.
Rage 3's on Game Pass.
There's a third one?
Yeah.
Is there?
Is there a third one?
No.
I feel like there is. Rage 3.
I was just Googling. Oh
no, is it Rage? No, it is Rage 2.
Yeah, I don't remember there being a third one, mainly because I don't think
there
anyone really bought the second one.
Maybe it is just Rage 3. Maybe Rage 2, sorry. Well, there's a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
I'm fucking starving.
I'm desperate for a wee.
Jesus Christ.
Get me a car park.
Right. We went out on the lash last night and we did illegal activities by pissing in the car park because there was no toilets around.
No, that was bad.
Breaking the law.
It was the best piss of my life.
It was a good night out. It was fun. I had fun. Catch us on the Patreon, I guess.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/what's the buttons.
See you on the flip
Get
side.
yourself some new content. We're going to have some lunch and then we're going to record that, eh?
Yeah. What
All
are we
right.
going to talk about?
Fuck knows.
Do a teaser. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm going to figure it out over lunch.
Very well. Okay then, well, look out for
I'm going to go and
that.
have some crumpets.
Yes.
Right. Speak to you all later, my little wormies.
Bye.
Bye, Uru.